Hello, I am Shanna Howes, and this is TRIPIL's News. Thank you for joining us. Our first story today is on the ongoing civil rights movement for people with disabilities in Pennsylvania. On February the 18th, a group of Western Pennsylvanians with disabilities delivered a new Bill of Rights to the Pennsylvania Governor Tom Corbett in Harrisburg. This Disability Bills of Rights outlined 12 basic rights that were being denied to people with disabilities. The groups read the 12 rights to the governor's office and explained how important each one was to the people of Pennsylvania. The governor's spokesperson, John Callahan, took this information and said that the governor would work to bring about needed changes. This group promised that they would be back to make sure of it. If you would like more information on how you can help your town a safe and more accessible place for people with disabilities, please seek out your nearest Center for Independent Living and ask about opportunities in your region. In other news, recent change by the Office of Long-Term Living has forced service providers across the state to change the way they have assist people attending care. Because of these changes, TRIPIL services will no longer be able to provide care the way they have done so in the past. Here to find out more about the recent change to service plan is Deb Holden.
Hi, I'm Deb Holden, and I'm here today talking with Michelle Schumar, the Deputy Director of TRIPIL Services. Hi, Deb. Hi, and Michelle Lohr, an Independent Living Specialist who is also a consumer.
Hi, Deb.
And Diana, Campus Service Coordinator, who is also a consumer.
Hi, Deb.
Michelle Schumar, I understand that there are some changes taking place in regards to the agency consumer model programs. Could you elaborate on some of those changes and why they're needed?
Yes, I can elaborate, Deb. Effective January 1st, 2011, policymakers in the Office of Long-Term Living forced us to change the way that we do business by considering the consumer-employer model of services the same as Services My Way. Services My Way is a program that has been around for a year or so, and it is simply a payroll services. The change in reimbursement rules resulted in most of our costs not being covered. Agency model consumers are not affected by this change. In the past, TRIPIL Services rarely provided agency model programs, even though we could increase our revenue and avoid this issue. This action by the Office of Long-Term Living promotes the more expensive agency model of service. It limits control, consumer control, and perpetuates an institutional bias, in my opinion.
Okay. Diana, you're a service coordinator for TRIPIL and also consumer. Recently, there have been changes to the annual recertification process for waiver services that requires the participant to provide a great deal of personal information. What type of feedback are you receiving from the program participants that you're working with?
In terms of a consumer assessment, there's a tool that requires the participant to provide a great deal of personal information. This tool is called a Care Management Instrument, or CMI, and it demands much more personal information about the consumer than was required by OLTL in the past. Our consumers are finding the request for information is invasive. Requests about the consumer's attendance income and the value of the consumer's property are two such examples. Consumers are also concerned about their privacy and personal information being preserved in OLTL's database. This is an issue because many individuals within OLTL have access to this information.
Okay, well, I don't see why they need to know the attendance wages, but
The
government does do stupid things.
Yes, it is very invasive.
Michelle Lohr, you've been a consumer for 10 years and an independent living specialist for TRIPIL. What changes at the Office of Long-Term Living have impacted service provision to waiver program participants?
One of the changes is the implementation of the independent enrollment broker. It's increased the waiting period for enrollment to up to 3 months. Also, another change is the amount of time that OLTL is taking to approve revisions to budgets. This is a change that includes inconsistencies of the approval process, as well as the lack of availability and the remoteness of department personnel for assistance. These changes are problematic and lend in placing our consumers at risk. Those consumers include those living in nursing facilities as well as those waiting for home modifications.
Okay, how have these changes impacted people living with disabilities?
In my opinion, it seems that OLTL is forcing consumers into a system of managed care. In managed care environment, the number of providers will be reduced, the number of consumers served will decrease, and consumer choice will be limited.
Okay.
We also have been meeting with our consumers, examining how TRIPIL Services can continue to be their provider of choice under a revised service plan using the agency-employer model of services, or using a combination of both the agency and consumer-employer models. Again, although the consumer may be changing the model of services, they still maintain control of their services.
Okay, Michelle Lohr, as an advocate, what can we do as members of the TRIPIL community to help out with these particular issues?
Well, there are several things that you can do. We need to start by educating and advocating. When we call you asking for your help to go to Harrisburg, please say yes. There's power in numbers. You can also help advocate by contacting your local legislators. Ask them to help by demanding a freeze or suspension of Harrisburg's new policies and actions by OLTL that continue an institutional bias model of service. You can call OLTL directly at 1-800-757-5042 and the independent enrollment broker Maximus at 1-877-550-4227 to voice your concerns. Call an independent living specialist here at TRIPIL at 724-223-5115 for more information or to find out who your local legislators are. Remember, advocacy leads to change.
Ladies, I want to thank you for stopping by and giving us this important information. I look forward to working with all three of you in the future. And this is Deb Holden for TRIPIL News, and I am living well.
Thank you, Deb. On Thursday, April the 14th, TRIPIL will be having an important membership meeting. The meeting will begin at 11 a.m. and will include a lunch for all 2011 members. The meeting will include a vote on a change to the bylaws allowing for a new class of members. This change will be used to help fund special projects with businesses in the area. Also, at this meeting, there will be a speaker from the Three Rivers Adaptive Sport, Kelly Dominic, will be talking about the struggles she has faced and overcome to achieve her goals. If you have not updated your membership, it is not too late. Memberships forms will be available to you at the meeting just before to bring your $2 to start your membership and to take part in the event. And now we'd like to share a nursing home transit success story with Rich DeLuca. Was trapped in a nursing home for 3 years, but with a belief in himself and by never taking no for an answer, he was able to find the independence he was looking for. The battles are not yet over as each day brings new struggles, but at least now he is free to achieve them in his own home. Here is Rich in his own words.
What started to be a normal day turned into an event that would change my life. On July 14th, 2008, I A truck and driver, blinded by the morning sun, struck my parked car. This 26-year-old individual was now serving a 20-year sentence. Finally, our life was out. He got 20 years, but I got life. My traumatic brain head injury has left me partially paralyzed with a slow but not impossible recovery due to the constituent issues my family put me in nursing home to better care for my special needs. While there, I participated in all the therapy offered, but the format was not acceptable to my unique type of injury. This nursing home is designed as a final destination, not a rehab facility. I was not pleased with the type of environment as I developed an attitude of not giving in. These feelings grew to a never give up or never quit attitude. 2 years into my prison stay, I met a gentleman from TRIPIL who convinced me there was another way to live. I took him up on an offer for a road trip to the TRIPIL office cafe. Long story short, I instantly fell in love, short and simple. They offered a concept of being independent with having a disability. Upon further visits and getting to know the attendants and staff, I learned a catchphrase that felt true to my own heart. Set our people free. I totally understood. Now I live on my own in an apartment miles away from that nursing home. I receive attendant care throughout my day along with some much needed therapy. Each day that passes, I now find new ways of regaining what was once lost. The folks from these groups have given me hope to face whatever challenges life has to offer.
That's all for today's news. Thank you for joining us. I am Shanna Hiles, and I am living well.